stuff going.
But still.
It's my daughter's 15th birthday.
Oh.
Kind of really.
15.
Yeah, I gave her a present yesterday. I knew I wasn't gonna be there tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Village of Holly Planning Commission meeting for December 18th, 2024 to order. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could we have a roll call, please?
Campbell,
Here.
Christian, Lacey,
Here.
Haskala, Cross,
Here.
Wallace, here, Everly, here, Kinnaman, Okaski.
Here. I have a note on my desk, we could please excuse Richard Kinnaman and Jim Casala. They called in.
I'll second.
No, that.
Or,
need a motion.
or
I make-
I'll move to.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, so move. I haven't heard from Galen at all, so, okay. Does anybody have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Approval of the minutes from October 23rd, 2024. I wasn't here, so I can't make any.
I'll also make a motion to approve the minutes from October 23rd, 2024 as presented.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Wallace,
Yes.
Lacey,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
Okaski.
Can't vote. Abstain, I wasn't there. All right, so approved. Can I have a volunteer to read our statement of purpose, please?
I can read the statement of purpose.
Okay, Jim?
The mission of the Holly Village government is to enhance our community's quality of life. Our organization strives for quality services, responsive action to citizen requests, and a cost-effective government. We promote citizen participation, proactive decision-making, and environmental quality. Most importantly, we shall always serve the citizens of Holly. The Village of Holly will be a prestigious historical government that is green residential oasis from the city and from the center of the commerce and activity for the region.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to public comments. If there's anyone in the public that would like to come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and bring anything before the committee that you would like us to hear or be concerned about, please do so. This is for things that are not on the agenda. Seeing no one move forward, let's move on to public hearing. Could I have a motion to open public hearing?
I motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second.
Roll call, please,
For which,
for opening the public hearing.
no, I know, public hearing for which one?
Why, yeah,
Oh,
You have to state that.
A
For,
has been scratched, so B would be,
BB 2024-006, consideration for a special land use for the property located at 200 Baird, ID number IH 0134329001.
I will second that.
roll call, please.
Cross,
Yes.
Lacey,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Okaski.
Yes. All right, public hearing is now open regarding item B on the agenda, which again was consideration for special land use of property located at 200 Baird Street. And if there's anyone in the public that would like to have any comments regarding this item that's before us on special land use? Please state your name and address.
Mr. Randall? You'll want to come up during your business.
Quite all right.
Same problem in school.
Not a problem. Anyone else? All right, seeing no one come forward from the public regarding the special land use for 200 Baird Street. Have a motion to close the public hearing regarding that item.
I will make a motion to close public hearing for 2024-006, consideration for the special land use for the property located at 200 Baird, ID number IH-01-34-329-001. I would also make a motion to open the public hearing for 2024-007, consideration for special land use for the property located at 306 Thomas Street, ID number IH-01-34-106-019.
All right.
Pause. We still have to do roll call
For closing.
Sorry, I need a second.
a second for
Second.
closing.
Thank you.
Roll call, please, for the closing of the meeting.
Lacy,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Okansky.
Yes. Now, the same
Now.
first, or
Sorry.
second half of that motion to open.
I'll
the
second
public
that
hearing.
one.
Sorry, Mr. Okansky.
You're fine.
State it all, I'll second it.
All right, roll call, please.
Campbell,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Okansky.
Yes. And I appreciate your
Sorry about that.
initiative
I
that
apologize.
Efficiency.
the efficiency would have sped things up, but unfortunately, to make things clear.
So sorry.
You're fine.
Seniors do not.
Again, anyone in the public that would like to speak regarding this item at 306 Thomas Street for special land use consideration, please step forward, state your name and address before us, and say whatever you have to say. Again, seeing no one come forward, now we need a motion to close public hearing for 306 Thomas Street.
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing for 2024-007, consideration for the special land use for the property located at 306 Thomas Street, ID number IH-01-34-106-019.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Everly,
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Okansky.
Yes. All right, moving on to item number 8, old business. Discussion regarding capital improvement process. I did not see anything in the packet for consideration or moving on.
So, Chair, I just have a handout I want to go over with the planning commission, so, having talked with staff, and city manager, the proposal and scope was shared. So, in this process, as we do with all of our clients for capital improvements and plans, this would be, I guess, just sharing this and see if there's any comments or suggestions before I come back with more revisions for the PC to review. So that's all there is right now. If there's anything or suggestions at this time.
Last time we were on this topic, I know we had discussed about other inputs, and we did not go that direction that I know of in the last couple of meetings. So I know one of the considerations was trying to look at this list and come up with possible, I guess, items that would be first, second, third choice as far as positioning goes. If the planning commission so chooses to put a priority on anything. Otherwise, we also could look at this list and submit it to council, based on what's here.
I want to take a step just before I interrupt. So right now, I just want to share this with you guys to look over, because what's going to happen is we're going to come back with some homework for the planning commission to then put this in order. So right now, this is a tentative list. And so right now, I just want to share this list with you guys, maybe a little early, but I know you may have seen it already, but if not, I want to share it again. And just to look at it and examine it, and then what I'll be doing is reconvening with staff and looking at their initial order, taking back the planning commission's input with a more refined list. So you've seen examples from other communities that we use. And then we're going to make some of those track changes, bring it back to the staff, and then obviously share it with the village council to get their input.
All right, so theoretically, then possibly next month, you would then have the documentation for
Yeah,
us that
that'd be.
you still would have time through the holidays and all that to have adequate time with staff?
Yeah, we're gonna meet to get their input and then try to bring it back to you guys with more of that document you guys all seen before in the past with, so that you guys can, make any other comments to it.
Anybody have any
So I
other
wanted to
questions?
share this with you guys kind of as a homework over the holidays to kind of get your mind to think about where does it, which ones you feel as if are priorities to you. We can go over those then.
Can we question some of these or just ask more details? And the only reason I am a safety guy, safety first. The only reason I'm asking is the Grange Hall North High sidewalks are brand new. Is the safety more of the maintenance, the plowing and that stuff on those ones?
I think it's at the intersection itself and not so much the corridors.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Through the chair.
The only thing I had to say was about the Falk Road site. I think the 110,000 is specifically for a fence. And since that's such a controversial thing, I think you'd want to say fence.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's great.
And I have a question. Do you want each of us individually to prioritize
Well,
ourselves?
not at
and then
this
kind
time,
of do
he's
a
gonna bring
consensus?
other information
I'm gonna
before
bring
us.
back something for you guys to look at, and so,
Okay, so, all right.
yeah. So I just want you guys to get this, I want to get it in front of you.
Okay, thank you.
It's something we've worked on already in the past, and for you guys to kind of just look at, and so you're more informed as we move forward.
Another comment, just to segue off of what Mr. Alex stated was, I know there was some requests of getting other commissioners involved in January. Talking with Alex and administration and the proposal that Alex has put together, we will be doing that later on through the process. This will not be happening in January. This will be a community event where we get community input later on in the spring. When we're a little bit farther down on the list. And that's when we'll invite those other members in the community to join us. But I spoke in front of council on it last week? With a deadline of July 1st. So, we're gonna be moving quickly with this over the next couple months. And with the proposal that Alex gave, administration, particularly Mr. Walker, we're gonna kind of have to follow that within budgetary reasons.
Anybody have any questions?
I just have a question. It was brought up today via Facebook about the fence at the cemetery. Apparently, the south side of the cemetery has a fence that is broken and pushed down. Is that something that we can discuss on that? Because Ms. Linda Smith is the one who brought that up.
Sounds great.
Okay.
I think if the census is that this commission would like to see that on the list, then that's what we'll do, we'll put it on that list.
I would like to see that added to our list of things to be added.
Do we have support?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, perfect,
I have no.
great.
Thank you so much, I
Yep.
appreciate that.
So we might not have a cost in January, but we'll try to get that from administration.
Thank you,
add
Ms.
that on the list.
Thank you.
Is there any further input or discussion on capital improvement?
No?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Let's move on then to new business. Item number 9. New business, first item on there is item B, because A was scratched off, and it is item 2024-006, consideration of special land use for the property located at 200 Baird Street, property ID IH 0134329-001. If the applicant would like to make any comments or statements to us, he's more than welcome at this time. Again, state your name and address.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Van Dahl. It's nice to see you again. Happy holidays. 200 Bayard Street, Holly, Michigan, 48442. And I just am hoping that everything that was requested has been handled. I've worked really hard with a number of people, including some help from the chief, to make sure that you have everything that you requested. And my objective is to make sure that it's right. So I'm just presenting myself in case I can answer any questions.
Did anybody have any questions for the applicant? I guess not.
No.
Oh, I was gonna
Okay.
say, the one thing that I did,
Yes.
want to make sure of, that we do require somebody local who would be able to address any concerns if you had, people there.
Okay.
And I know that it did say, it said applicant lives within the village, but also, we do have an address that is not in the village. So it's just one thing I would like to bring up, to make sure that we do have somebody who would be there addressing any concerns that would happen and when you do have guests.
Okay, of course. We have a property manager that is always available. I think you've got address and phone numbers on her. And my sister lives up the road, and she's responsible for the actual property. Her and her husband will be taking care of the property.
Can we get an address?
Absolutely.
And
So,
contact
Ms. Walls,
information.
When they fill out the rental registration for short-term rentals, that is where they put that, just for privacy purposes.
Just because we have two different, I'm not asking you to divulge, actually.
I understand.
here,
I understand.
But I want to make sure that that is something that is addressed.
Is your sister acting primarily as your Airbnb agent, the local agent? She's the one they're contacting with and basically running it for you?
Yes, that is absolutely correct, yes.
Perfect. That makes total
Yeah.
sense, that she's there, she is, basically, you're just the guy behind the curtain.
That's
actually-
pretty much true.
And
Yeah.
the other question I have is, your legal residence for tax purposes, you're homesteading in Nevada, correct?
That is correct,
Oh,
yes.
So we're gonna get a little boost on homestead tax anyways.
Good point.
Yeah, and I can promise you, we're doing our best to make sure that we only have a great quality of people staying at the house. The primary reason for the residence is I have a 91-year-old mother that lives in Milford, and I was paying somebody else monthly for an Airbnb when I come visit her, so.
Was there anything that you and the chief could not get figured out, or could not close, or get anything worked out?
I don't think so, not that I'm
I just
aware of.
wanted to point out, on this page here, towards the bottom, he does address, who the contact person will be and where she lives, yep.
Which page is that?
They're not numbered,
It's the
but it
handwritten
says
letter one?
September 3rd.
It's just before my letter
Okay.
in the packet.
The note from the homeowners. okay.
It's the fourth bullet point from the bottom. It addresses that for confidentiality.
Yeah. But she does live here in the village, correct? Thank you so much. I
Of course.
appreciate that. Just one concern I had.
I understand, I appreciate it.
Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? I did see one thing on Rose's report on the first cover page that I had concern with. Whether it be valid or not to everybody else, I'm not sure. But you had talked that you were proposing a digital guest registry for the Airbnb versus a hard copy.
think the idea behind that is any of you that needed to access,
I'm sorry.
I apologize, okay, can do so at any time. So it's always available to you readily. If it's required or requested that we keep a hard copy, we're absolutely happy to do that. If there's something that
Wasn't
you,
there supposed to be,
So, there are several in the community already, and I would say 90% of them are using digital at this time. And the ordinance states that it's the village manager and his designee that has access to that. So it wouldn't be members of this commission that would have access. It would be the rental inspector, who is the fire marshal Kurt Nitschke, who will be doing those inspections. And the village manager, him or her, would have the responsibility of follow-up.
Yeah, my only comment was, is I rent Airbnbs a lot and I never sign anything, it's all electronic, so. Yeah.
thank you, yeah.
I agree, and I think if that's the accepted protocol in the village, there's no reason to change anything now.
Except our ordinance.
One of my other concerns, if I may bring it up, is the parking issue. I know it said that, how many guests are you? It's 6, correct?
We can accommodate on only because the couch can be converted into a bed. 6, probably as a general, won't be more than 4, but there is plenty of parking. There are 2 parking spots directly on site.
Okay.
And then I live on the corner, right? And that whole street is open and available parking. Of course, as long as you're paying attention to, trash days, which is clearly.
And when,
And our ordinance is that they have to have 1 parking spot for every 3, correct?
And they do hit that criteria.
I'm only concerned because I live in this neighborhood as well.
Okay.
And I understand the lack of parking when we have community events.
Right.
That would be, held by the venue and I want to make sure that we do have the correct amount of parking on site. Because sometimes the road is not always available.
I understand. I don't think it's going to be likely or very common probably that people are going to be exceeding 2 parking spots because it's a very small house, so, yeah.
And you can park on both sides of Grand Street.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yes.
With both streets and both sides of both streets,
No.
because we're right across from Cyclone here, so.
You only have parking on the one side, on Baird.
on Barry?
You cannot park on
Both sides.
it would be on
Not
the
legally.
north side or whatever, yeah, it's only one side you can park on.
Oh, one side, but also Grant, yes?
Grant, you can
Yeah,
have
that's what I
both
meant.
sides,
If I
yeah.
misspoke, I
No,
apologize, yeah.
I just want to make sure that we have enough parking for your guests.
No,
just
and I
so
appreciate it,
you
of
have
course.
that ability
That would be a problem.
to have guests there.
Chair, I just have one other clarification question, and not for the applicant. On the standards for approval, it says that the proposed use would be inconsistent with the master plan,
Yeah.
which calls for this to be commercial.
That
On
was
my agenda too.
wrong,
That's a residential greeno.
yeah.
You have that down as future land use to be commercial, and I believe that's correct.
Where are you citing that? Can you-
Looking at the review for the standards for special land use, the very first item says to consider the proposed site would appear to be inconsistent with the master plan, which calls for the location to be used for commercial activity,
And that should be.
and that's all residential.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
That's what we have. That was one.
Good catch, thank you.
Anything else by anybody? Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion? Or do we have any discussion other than this? Anybody have any comments, any concerns?
My only question would be for Mr. Watson is, do you have any issue with this from a safety standpoint, from EMS, fire, parking, anything at all?
We look at it as just another single-family residence in our community that we're responsible to protect.
And I think it's only gonna bring positive things to the community. It's a nice neighborhood. We have local people looking after it.
And I agree with Ms. Everly, our family travels Airbnb or VVRO as well, so.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the special land use for 2024-007, consideration for a special land use for the property located at 306 Thomas Street, ID.
No, not Thomas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
200.
At 200 Baird Street, ID IH 0134-329-001, and I'm sorry, it was 2024-006, to approve that special land.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Cross,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes?
Campbell,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Okansky.
Yes. So moved. Okay,
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful holiday.
Yes.
You as
too.
well.
By the people that you love the most.
Thank you, travel safe.
Thank
Hope you
you.
see some rain there in Vegas here.
all right, moving on, new business to item C, 2024007, consideration of site plan review for the property located at 306 Thomas Street, parcel ID IH 0134106019. Are you the applicants? If you have anything you'd like to say before us, you don't have to. If you desire to, you're more than welcome to at this time.
All right, hello everyone. My name's Daniel Pillavant. I live at 306 Thomas Street, Holly, Michigan, 48442. So the site plan review and the application that I submitted is for a physical therapy and personal training business. I also do some nutrition coaching. I have a bachelor's in exercise science and a doctorate in physical therapy. And I, just through talking with people in our church and the community and just looking around, I felt there was a need in Holly for some more exercise and just some healthier stuff going on. There's really hardly any gyms or there's not a whole lot of, there's not a whole lot oriented towards health and fitness here, and we live in the village, and so kind of partially because there wasn't really a gym super close, I thought, well, I would make a gym in my basement, and then after the fact kind of thought, well, you know, I've got a bunch of people that, you know, kind of ask me questions and seek my advice and wanted to kind of begin physical therapy or personal training for whatever their health reasons were. And so that's what inspired this idea, just kind of just a love for helping people and being healthy and making other people prioritize their health. And so yeah, that's pretty much what got this whole thing started. If you guys have any questions or anything?
In your application, you had mentioned that for the most part, this would be kind of a one-on-one type environment for you versus a group type of setting, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when I originally started to create a website and whatnot, I had thought that I might do that, but what I'm doing now is just one-on-one, either physical therapy or personal training. So there will only be one client at my house at a time.
Now, what is your business, let's put it business hours? How late would those hours go?
So the latest that I have anyone stay is 7 p.m. So my latest appointment is 6 p.m.
Okay.
And your earliest?
7 a.m.
And you're a licensed physical therapist?
Yes, sir.
And the area that you're using will be just in the basement still, or are you using just?
Correct, just one
It has
room.
its own separate entrance and all that, or?
Yes, ma'am. Just one room in the basement with a walkout door and the path that leads right to it.
Awesome.
Is your business entrance gonna be through the home or through the walkout?
The walkout.
So no steps or anything?
No.
And does the business area have bathrooms, all that stuff for clients and?
So there is a restroom in the basement. It is not in that room purposed for,
accessible.
but it is accessible on that floor. Yes, sir. There is a window at the other end. So there is a staircase that comes down from the second level, and there's an egress window there
Okay.
on the opposite end of the walkout door.
Mr. Watson, is there any need for his bathroom to be handicap accessible?
Not being a home occupation.
So this is, no disrespect, very similar to somebody with a cosmetology license cutting hair out of their home.
Correct.
Typically one-on-one, home-based business.
And if you look at our ordinance, 157-071, it is allowed use.
I believe up to 10%.
10%, and he's at 9.7, I think it was.
Keeping it close.
How long you been a physical therapist?
This will be my 6th year.
6?
Yes, sir.
I looked at your reviews online, so you've obviously been doing business there. Have your neighbors complained?
No,
They're not here.
they're not here, which it's a good thing. Huh? Oh, yeah. Our direct neighbor actually just broke his leg not long ago, and he was gonna come over, but he ended up going somewhere else.
No, I think it makes sense. It's better for tax purposes. It provides both, as a business owner and a homeowner, opportunities for success. He's been in business. He's licensed through the state, so he has to uphold certain criteria regardless of where he's practicing. And if the village allows it,
I'm good with it.
does anybody have any issues with it? Or
No.
any concerns?
No.
What's the name of your business, because it's not included on here?
Rampart Rehab and Training.
Do I have a motion?
I slaughtered the last one, so somebody else get a shot.
I'll make the motion. Do I have to read all that? I'll make the motion that we approve 2024-007, the request for, what am I doing?
Consideration.
Special land use of the property located at 306 Thomas Street.
Site plan.
Site plan. Review for the property located at 306 Thomas Street, ID number IH0134106019.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Lacy,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Everly,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
Okonski.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for making it official.
Do we need a motion to close all this, or?
Okay, moving on to item number 10, training. There was nothing on the docket that I had seen.
Just one sec, I want to, Chair, if you don't mind, just talk about that real quick, so. About a week and a half ago, the Michigan Association of Planning came out with a great number of trainings for public officials like yourselves, coming into this winter-spring season. So, as we speak right now, I'm copying, pasting the training link for Carol to share with you all. I hope that you guys can look it over and see what would be of interest to you. I'll just note here that there is a training in person and virtual on the 18th, in person, 19th, 20th virtual, for a lesser price for planning and zoning essentials. I think it'd be very important that the planning commission members look into this training to understand your roles and your responsibilities and the sorts of things that are under your purview, and what isn't under your purview, because I think, it's something you wouldn't necessarily know or think about until you've had the necessary training. So,
Is that in January?
no, March.
Oh.
So it's coming up. And I'm gonna say, this is coming to Carol from her email today at 5 o'clock, because I couldn't find her previous email. There's another training in March as well, on the 11th, at Washtenaw Community College on site plan review. So if you guys are interested in learning about site plans, it's a good training. I took this some time ago just to take it. It's good. I think it will help you guys out.
Also in March.
Also in March. same time in the afternoon at Washington Community College in the evening. On the 11th of March is a community engagement training, another training on March 12th online, 3 o'clock about blight, how to deal with blight. One about managing risk on the 12th online. And then getting the development you want on the 18th in Frankenmuth. So you're fortunate to have them kind of in your vicinity, if you will, this year. So I highly recommend the Planning and Zoning Essentials. I say this as Jeremy knows and some of the people in the PC. I've worked with this community on and off for close to 15 years. I care about this community. It's one of my favorite towns I work with. I take it personal. And maybe Jeremy can attest that I try to go above and beyond the requirements to make sure that, you know, we're doing things in accordance with your zoning ordinances and most importantly, best practices. Some of the questions asked the applicants today were more building department related or other things that weren't under the zoning ordinance. I try to put in the letter, the focus of what may be a deficiency for you guys to consider in your motions and what is pertaining to the zoning ordinances, which is entirely under your purview. So I think these trainings would be beneficial. If you've taken them before, I suggest taking them again. If you haven't, I strongly suggest taking them just for the fact that new trends, new things are coming about, not only just in best practices, but interpretation of laws. And right now, there are a host of laws that may potentially affect the Planning, Zoning, and Enabling Act for the state of Michigan. Right now, there's a whole bunch of things between the Land Division Act, House bills that have been passed. I think Jeremy's going to talk about that in an email blast. So I know you guys care desperately. You're stewards of your community, so taking those trainings I think will be beneficial. So I'm about to hit send here for Carol, and she'll forward them on to you. And if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to talk about them. I know some of the instructors personally and professionally, so I think you guys are in good hands.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, if I could segue right off of that real quick.
Sure.
This was just recently passed House Bill 5557. 5557, if you want to research it. It will play a part with us because it talks about the revision of our master plan. We will be starting that process again probably 2025, I believe, if not, and 2025 for 2026. So this bill basically, just nuts and bolts real quick. The new bill mandates that housing needs be considered when developing or revising master plans, and that housing interests and represented by a member of the Planning Commission, and this is how it affects your role. And it goes into a little bit of detail on that, but I think it's constant, just to kind of go off of what Alex has changed, it's constantly changing, and if we don't do our due diligence of staying up to speed of all the new changes, we become a little bit complacent in our own community. So I would ask, if you do have some free time over the holiday, please look at the House Bill 5557, just to kind of get yourself a little bit familiar with it, so that when we do start the master plan revisions, we won't have to spend a lot of time on that re-education.
And this email blast went to all of our road clients, hundreds of them. So this isn't to say that you guys should be of concern. It's just to inform you of the sizable change. If you were to ask me, I think you're in decent shape for the most part in compliance with this new bill. You do in your master plan to talk about housing. You do have goals for housing. You have available locations for housing. More importantly, you guys have also had new housing development happen in the community in recent years. So this is just so that you guys know there's been a change, but for the most part, you guys are kind of following the line for that. So there isn't, say, a police force that's going to come in and go over those things and require that, of you. I mean, the county will review your master plan, but it's just the state's trying to make an initiative to improve housing across the state.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Okey-dokey. Moving on to reports. ZBA,
Us, no, we haven't met in forever and a day and a half, so, nothing to report,
Any
sorry.
decisions on DDA?
DDA, they were talking with Chief Narsh. This is a proposal for the parking management. They've been talking about that. It will be coming to here. And
It
then,
will require site plan approval.
yes, it will require site plan approval and then go to council, of course, after that. But they just had the meeting for that. I did get a copy. I don't know, is it online or,
I don't believe so yet.
okay.
Proposed about 200 parking spots, I believe, 201 parking spots.
I think so.
Can you just give us an overview, just like where?
Behind the mill.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it'll,
yeah.
from Civic, you'll be able to egress there, and then egress also from Oakland.
You're gonna fill all that?
But there's some drainage there with the railroad that needs to be engineered first. And that's kind of where it's slowed.
There's other things that are on it that has to be looked over also.
Pardon me?
There's other items on here that will have to be looked over really too.
As far as our purview, landscaping, lighting, accessibility.
Okay. Well, we've been complaining about parking for a long time.
It's gonna help.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll cure it, but it'll help.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Mr. Kinman's not here for council.
Council did have a special meeting this last Saturday on the 14th, and that was to interviews for the new manager. They had gotten it down to 4, and as far as I know, they have asked the first one that they had picked, and he isn't taking it. He had another job offer unless we could, match.
Sweet
Yeah,
pot, huh?
yeah, more money. And then they had talked to also Timothy Price is the one that they have asked now, so
He was
I'm
in the
not
village
sure.
today.
Okay, he
and
was in the
going through some background stuff,
okay.
but last I heard, it's not official.
It's not official yet. So that was the 2 that they were going to be asking up front, first.
Okay.
So that's all that I know.
Can I just put on top of that, I heard that the council was all here and they did a really good job
Yes, they did.
with the interviews, like they were very engaged and
Oh, yes, they did.
that's, thank you.
It was a long day.
Well,
Yeah.
Saturdays.
Yeah, it was from 8 o'clock in the morning, and then the one last candidate, she came in at 1:30. So we had left, I think it was at 12:15, and we had to be back at 1, so,
It's a long day.
yeah.
Thank
But
you.
everything was really great. They really did ask a lot of good questions, so,
Good.
yeah.
Okay. Anything?
I'd like to just add one more thing about the council meeting, and it does affect planning commission. At the end of the meeting, village president Brandon did ask administration to look into a short-term rental ordinance for our community. And the attorney, Mr. Gildner, said he would be happy to provide the documents that he's been working with other communities on. And actually, when the idea of, things are gonna change in Lansing came up, Gildner was pretty loud about, we've been waiting for 10 years for it to change in Lansing. Let's just get done what we need to get done. So I would expect that to be coming to us in the near future.
And I will agree with that. I reached out to administration today if we had that document ready, and it's not. So fingers crossed for January, but Madam President did request that through Attorney Gildner, and we're just waiting for that document to come. It's really the legalities of limiting the amount of short-term rentals that we have in our community per the request of Madam President April Brandon. So once we get some clarification on the legalities of it, it'll come back in front of this commission to rework our ordinance with the help of Alex from Road to make sure that we fall in the purview of the state guidelines for legal.
And it also isn't just about the number of them, you also have that issue short-term rental with nobody who's living on premise. That also figures into, and I think some of the ADU stuff, you know, I've got an auxiliary dwelling unit on my property.
Oh, that's not allowed by ordinance.
Okay, well, but that's the way some people want to do Airbnbs, but
Sure.
all of those issues I hope we'll address.
Okay, thank you. Parks Commission?
That doesn't go
They start
until,
in October, and they start back up in February, January.
January, yeah.
All right, moving on to item 12, Commissioner and staff comments. Angela, would you like to start?
I really have nothing except have a wonderful holiday season with your families and those who you love.
Same.
All good.
Pretty much the same. I hear Charles Dickens was way successful, although I managed to avoid it. I'm afraid I'm just not ready to be there yet. But it was, sounded like they had a real nice one.
Yeah.
I saw the petting zoo and everything. It's getting bigger every year, man.
We had some
Pretty
very
impressive.
different things this year.
It was,
which
yeah,
good.
I drove by it, like I said, I just can't partake right now. I'm just not there, but.
If I can take
But
my
it's
time
very
back
impressive.
just for a minute, our fellow commissioner here was there every day, the whole time, and she was the person who rounded up the kids and held mom and dad's camera for the Santa shots,
Yeah.
so,
Take all the pictures of the kids. That was wonderful.
thank you, Angela.
Yes.
Thank you.
It is appreciated.
Just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be great to see you guys in January,
Okay,
hopefully.
staff. Anybody over there?
I would like to give an update on scooters. Alex and I did have about an hour and a half meeting with them this morning. They are tentatively looking at coming back in February with their first review that they've already received. So,
Cool.
fingers crossed. That project is still moving forward, and we've been working in the background, Alex and I, trying to get that bulletproof application to present to you guys. With the holidays and still some pertinent information lacking, we all agreed this afternoon, or this morning, that February will be when they come in front of the board again.
Are they primarily working on the parking issue?
There's a few pertinents, but parking is one of them.
Okay. I guess only one question that was biting at me. Down at corner of Rosette and Saginaw, the rental facility, where they rent out equipment.
Oh, yeah,
Alright.
I know 714 North Saginaw.
Yeah. What does the ordinance say regarding multiple businesses in the same building?
I believe it is allowed, but, I'd have to check.
Because I've noticed,
It's the same guy, he just owns two businesses.
and that would be my question, is like, okay, how many business names and establishments, once you have use of the property, that you can just say, okay, I'm gonna have 20 facilities in here? I'd like to know what that.
I don't know if I have the answer, if Alex can answer off the top of his head. If not, then we'll try to do a little research and give you
Yeah, so,
an adequate answer.
so the question is
It's industrial.
yeah, so going back is, first is gonna be, is that use allowed on that site? So it's industrial, so hopefully it's industrial uses and not a residential. Second part is, how many square feet of space is he using, and does he have enough sufficient parking for those uses, or, in total, the businesses? And then the second part is, do they have the appropriate turn radius, do they have the appropriate lighting, do they have the appropriate drainage on site? So given this existing site, it'd be a question for the building department to maybe stop by and just say, hey, how you doing? And are there all the businesses registered, and are you meeting, if there's anything there? So, it wouldn't be a site plan review, it would just be making sure that they're in compliance with the zoning ordinance.
That was my biggest concern is, are they in compliance and is that allowed?
I met with him back in October, and to my understanding, administration, they agreed, and I didn't run it through Roe once that I got that. And really, the parking is staff. He doesn't really have people that are coming into the business as patrons, it's more of employees.
Yeah, they just have more equipment now in their parking area versus in the gated area.
So just remember, industrial has a different zoning where it does allow for that type of storage, even though it's on our main corridor. That industrial zoning district does allow for outdoor storage without screening. That was one of my biggest things, when they put up that fence was, do we require them to screen it? And for our ordinance, industrial does not require screening.
All right, so if you could just maybe do a stop by and just verify everything's
Yep, I know the owner.
still up and, because like I said, I just saw the different names, it's like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, they just put that sign up, last week, maybe.
All right, other than that, I don't have anything else. We'll move on to
Dispensary.
public comment, item number 13.
Dispensary, I just thought of that. Dispensary update?
I would love to comment.
Go ahead.
Received another call, actually, Doug Scott gave the review back, I believe it was Thursday of last week. Their second submittal on the underground detention was not approved. The contractor reached out to me today. Unfortunately, I did not have time to follow up with him, so he'll be on the docket for tomorrow. But they want to request a meeting with Doug Scott from Rowe and the building team to try to get that. They were given an ultimatum on a particular date that they had to have everything in and operating, or council was gonna revoke the license. So, I can tell you they are chomping at the bit. With the water table being so high right there, it's causing some conflict with the detention. So, figuring out whether or not they had some impervious surfaces and whether or not that could, the soil could absorb that. It sounds like they're gonna scrap that now and just focus mostly on going into the storm drain for that removal of that water. So once we get a plan, we'll send it to Rowe Engineering for review. But as of Thursday, their second submittal was not sufficient.
How close are they to their?
That's the last thing. That's the
Oh,
last.
no, to the deadline where the,
You know, I don't remember the date. I wanna say it was summer.
is
It was
the
either June
council,
or July.
Coming up or past?
I'm sorry,
June of 2004 or 2005?
2025. But
is
then
council willing? It sounds like the things that are going are beyond their control. It's just like, because, that site's been used for automotive for, 50, 60 years. It sounds like it's nothing that the dispensary owners are doing, it's just dealing with the hand they were dealt.
Pretty much, yeah, and the water table in Holly's just so high, it's very hard.
Well, I guess to that point, wait a minute, keep talking.
Well, no, my point is my only hope was, is council willing to work with them? Are they gonna stick to that date, or realize that these guys are trying to doing the best they can, and they just got dealt a bad hand?
I'd love to answer. My feeling is, we are going through a new administration change. Old administration gave them that, ultimatum. I don't know what the new administration is gonna do. And we have a new council, so,
What I was gonna say is that, yes, it's all been there for a long time, but that whole drainage was just redone in the last few years. Remember when Saginaw Street was ripped up for a summer and a half?
yeah, went from airport all the way up to Oakwood.
So that property is on that new system, so nothing should be coming as a surprise to anybody.
Nope. I think they chose to do underground versus tapping into our storm, but they may find that they want to go back to that. So, honestly, we just take what they submit, we have it reviewed professionally through Rowe, and then we take the direction, the next step, and that's where we're at today.
Because anything they do is gonna be better than it's sitting there as it is now.
I did give them a temporary, to put the footings in, so you will see those are in. But, we put a stop as of right now, no more until we get that hashed out.
Could they not, granted, probably be expensive for them, but they own that whole property, could they not put retention on the next property parcel next to them and use that as retention?
Absolutely. They have several options. It's just really which one are they gonna choose? And then are they gonna prepare, those documents for review?
And they would have to
How much
combine
do
those
they
lots.
Yeah, and they have to do a lot
You
combo.
gotta do a lot of combo. You can't just say, oh, we're gonna store it over there, then we're gonna sell it off, and then we can still store it.
Yeah, they'd have to,
Combine lots.
And I think honestly, Ms. Everly, I think the underground is quite a bit more expensive than the retention pond or detention pond.
Thank you.
all right, I guess from there, if there's no more comments, we'll go to item 13 being public comment again. No one here from the public. We'll move to adjourn the meeting.